Now, we've all seen movies with those super nerdy characters who are portrayed as constantly overthinking and analyzing every single thing that happens to them, wondering what they're doing wrong, what mistakes they are making, and really just living in that logical side of the mind constantly without allowing themselves any time to relax or feel a state of ease. And we see these characters time and time again, no matter what they do and how hard they try, they just can't seem to get what it is that they want. You may have run into people like this across your own life as well. They might tend to be very logical people. They might be very good at school and very book smart, but when it comes to other things such as relationships and communicating, they really miss the mark. And today, we're going to dive into this. I'm going to give you the secret to the unbothered characters, the Chad that you see on TV, who is great at sports, moves with swagger and confidence, all the girls like him, everybody likes him, but he can't do a math problem or doesn't realize that somebody was actually trying to diss him. We also have the female version of this, the airhead, the ditz, who again moves with grace and is almost glowing and exuding this feminine energy, but at the same time seems like she's always doing her hair or her makeup or completely self-absorbed with her looks and other stereotypes such as this. They might not have some of that cognitive intellectual ability that these other characters have, but they always seem to walk with grace and everything kind of just naturally works out for them. In this video, I'm going to explain to you the genius and actually dumbing things down, how these characters are so unbothered by things that are going on in their outer reality. Usually things are working favorably to them, but even when they run into things that look like they might not, they're able to let it slide off them and be completely unbothered by it. And how thinking too much and thinking too hard about things and agonizing over the minute details of things is actually negatively impacting the quality of your life. So if you want to be that confident, carefree character who walks through life with the wind at their back and seems to have everything always go their way, stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to give you actionable steps that you can use and techniques to implement this type of approach in your day-to-day life in order to get there. So for me personally, the interesting thing is that I can actually identify with both of these characters. I've had times in my life where I was extremely analytical, extremely logical, and I have that part of that aspect of my personality exists. But at the same time, I'm a very creative person. And I find that when I'm really engaged in an activity that I enjoy, I lose myself in it and get into that flow state where everything just seems to work kind of effortlessly and magically. Early on in life, this was through acting. My mom took me to acting classes and got me involved in plays, and I even starred in a commercial for Sears. I also immersed myself in drawing, writing, and later on it was writing and creating music. As I got older, lost myself in the act of socializing, in working in nightlife, in LA, and in sales jobs. And in all these situations, I would again find myself getting out of that logical mind and just getting lost in the present moment, allowing my body to do what it knows to do. And I can look back at some of the best times in my life when I was in this state, regardless of whether I was making music, acting, doing sales, or socializing. It all boiled down to allowing my body to getting out of my head and getting into my body. But because I'm also someone who's constantly looking to improve myself, I can tend to get very analytical when it comes to how I can improve in the context of communication, in the context of improving certain skills. And really when it comes down to anything I want to get better at, I am wanting to figure out what I'm doing wrong so that I can iterate and improve upon it. Now, when it comes to video games, which I was really good at as a kid, I would watch the older kids play and see the strategies that they were using. And as soon as I got a new technique or strategy, I would obsess over it and implement it so that I could get better at that. This can be a good thing, but if you are constantly questioning what you're doing, you are now allowing that voice of doubt to creep in. And when communicating, if somebody doesn't respond the way that you'd like, you can get very in your head. And I would actually do this with emails and text-based communication because I didn't have any way to get that instant feedback that I would get face-to-face. So one thing that my partner and I were discussing the other day is that in the same way that we're able to affirm that when we're out and about, when we're on a trip, when we're talking to people, everybody loves us, people just love our energy, they love giving us free things. we can affirm that for our online communication as well, and just have the faith and know that people are receiving it well, that we are being received in this positive manner. Of course, there are ways that we can improve our communication, and we don't want to neglect that, especially when using text-based communication. I've found that that seems to be a separate skill in and of itself. And it actually, over the course of time, has been more of a struggle for me to learn that than face-to-face communication, because I feel like it doesn't feel as intuitive. And for example, I used to write long texts, and I've come to find out that short, more concise messages are received much better. But as a general rule, the ability to almost cut yourself off from the ideas or judgments of other people are having about you is like a hack in the Matrix. In fact, I had one mentor give me an exercise to be used in social situations where I felt social anxiety called cutting the cords. And that was literally to imagine these cords of energy linking from me to everybody in the room. They're like cables being connected to us, and raise up my arms and slice the cables, separating that link of perception from me to them, so that I no longer care about the way that I'm being judged or perceived in a social situation. So, while the overactive thinkers might be judging and condemning the jocks and the ditzes in high school, they're actually secretly jealous that they can't embody that raw, masculine or feminine, powerful energy because they're too stuck in their head. There's inner conflict and tension going on within. There's actually a genius in this lack of thinking that you see with these kinds of people, because they have their brains turned off. They're able to move with grace. They're not carrying tension in their body, and they're much more capable of pure self-expression and letting that divine energy flow through them unabated. If you're able to tap into this, you'll find that you have better instincts, better judgment about people's character. I've even gotten into states where I feel as if I can see and perceive people's intentions. And I know that that might sound a bit far out, but I would implore you to get immersed deeply into something that you enjoy doing and see for yourself if you don't feel as if you're actually operating from a higher level. So, rather than preoccupying yourself with analyzing what people are thinking, scrutinizing things, put your attention back on yourself, because you are that social butterfly. You are that popular character in a movie who always seems to get their way, that everything always works out for. You're the best anyway, and no matter what's going on, you always come out on top. When I was younger, I listened to Practicing the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and that had an impact on me because it really, as I was walking around throughout the day, I would have that on in my earphones. It helped bring me in peace internally, letting go of that inner conflict and the pain body, as Eckhart Tolle talks about. Because we've been so hypnotized by our outside world that our inner world becomes chaos, and our inner and outer worlds are connected. And as soon as we take that on inside, it's going to then reflect back in the outer world again. So dumbing it down and being unbothered means that you put yourself above everything. You don't analyze minute details because you're so immersed in the now and in being that guy or that girl. You only perceive things to be in the most favorable way for you because, again, you're setting boundaries. You are oblivious to any signs of anyone judging you. And if you start thinking that way, it's like, oh, they must be jealous. In fact, that's probably the truth, because usually, almost any time you see anyone hating on someone, it's because they're doing worse. It stems from that emotion of jealousy. Stop the focus on the 3D outer world and bring it back inward to you. Contemplate all the ways that you are amazing. I love my jawline. I have an amazing complexion. I'm an amazing communicator. Everybody loves me. I'm the most relaxed, most easygoing, and everything just goes my way. I always land on my 2 feet. And stop linking that one experience to everything else. Because you got scammed that one time, or because that person bailed on you, does not mean that it's going to play out that same way again and again and again. Those situations that you might be ruminating about had all of their own aspects that led to that particular dynamic in that particular case, that caused things to play out the way they did in that particular circumstance. You do not need to be bringing that energy into every single new experience. You're generalizing one thing, creating a false story, and if you keep repeating that story, it's going to continue to unfold. Do the least, let others do the most. You proclaim that this is what you're putting out, the answers and solutions you are looking for are coming to you, you got this, and you trust that you will get it. Don't actively go out seeking proof that someone's doing something shady. You don't need to worry about the intention behind someone's actions, words, reactions, or behavior. Rather, you don't care because it is a reflection of them. If someone's going to do something shady, they're going to do it. It's not helpful or productive for you to analyze the details of someone else's behavior. And even if you were the type of person who wants to improve yourself, like myself, a lot of the time you notice that these people have trauma. They have their own lens through which they see the world. If someone is trying to make you feel less intelligent or bad about yourself, if they genuinely want to make you feel bad, pray about it, ask for them to be removed from your life, and let it go. Don't have the capacity or energy to prove anyone wrong, defend your point of view, because you forget almost immediately because you are focused on being awesome. You're conceited, you're selfish, and you are the boss. Instead of worrying about what they said or what they're doing, you're focused on yourself, getting what you want, and you don't get distracted and you are oblivious to it. Be oblivious. Have selective attention and selective focus on the things that you want to pay attention to. Look for more proof that that is true. You walk around with that glass half full mentality, and no matter what's going on, it doesn't bother you because you know that you're the man or you are that girl. If you look at characters in movies, like Karen Smith in Mean Girls, she literally doesn't have the time and instantly forgets about somebody saying something negative about her. Take a look at this.
If someone said something bad about you, you'd want me to tell you, right?
No.
What if it was someone you thought was your friend?
What do you... Hold on, other line. You want to go to Taco Bell?
I can't go to Taco Bell. I'm on an all-carb diet. God, Karen, you are so stupid.
You're not stupid, Karen. No, I am actually. I'm failing almost everything.
Well, there must be something you're good at.
I can put my whole fist in my mouth. Want to see?
If you pay attention to Damon Salvatore, the way that Damon Salvatore acts in Vampire Diaries, he doesn't even see or have time to perceive somebody's negative opinions of him. Instead, he turns it into a joke and always interprets things favorably.
Take off your shirt.
Elena, there are children present.
Fine. He didn't tell me he had a brother.
Well, Steven's not one to brag.
You need a bib.
Sorry, I can't unhinge my jaw like a snake to consume alcohol.
Whatever.
Why did you bring me with you?
Well, you're not the worst company in the world, Elena.
Stefan?
Better. Me.
You look,
Dashing, gorgeous, irresistible.
wrecked. You look wrecked.
No reason why. Do you know that I am one of Mystic Falls' most eligible bachelors?
So stop trying to prove your point. Prove them wrong. Think about why they said something to you. You're just uninterested. You don't fall for that game. It's irrelevant. And it's the same thing for the news, with politics, you just don't care. If it's not serving you, you don't care. If someone questions your intelligence, again, you don't care. You don't need to prove it to anyone because you know that you're intelligent. And when the time comes and it's necessary for you to show up intelligently, you know that you're going to. So act dumb. You don't know what they're saying. They had tried to hurt me? No, I just didn't even realize that. This goes right along with your vision of who you are and where you're going, and your selfishness in that. When you're so focused on you and where you're going, you don't have time to gossip about what other people said, what they're up to, because that's stealing your vital life energy away from helping you get what you want. It's so small because this is your destination. You're going on a trip. You don't get derailed by the signs on the side of the road on the way to get to where you're going. This is the key to having a top tier winning self-concept. You are elite. You are at the top of the food chain, the 1%. All that worrying and that other stuff is for the 99%. The key to this super self-confidence and super self-concept, where you have rose-colored glasses and everything just seems to go your way, and you just walk around like a walking magnet to luck, is to become obsessed with yourself, your vision, and the person that you are becoming. This might sound bad at first, but the key is that the more attention you put on yourself, the more focus you put on yourself, rather than others' perception of you, you consequently change their perception of you, because you're only thinking favorable things about yourself, your reality, and your vision. That's the law of assumption. That's self-concept. The thoughts you are having are only a perception of what is occurring. Everyone observing things is observing them differently. So what if you perceived everything to be in your favor? That's how you get on the wave of fortune, and that is how you get an advantage in life. If people are staring at you, instead of, why are they staring? Is there something on my face? It's, yeah, of course they're staring because I look good. They know I look good and I know I look good. With everything that happens, you're thinking that's working in my favor. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that this helps. Drop me a like, drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought about this and any other videos or topics that you'd be interested in me covering. With that being said, much love. Thank you all, and I hope to see you in the next video.